What does it mean to be God's elect? What does it mean that he's picked people? I want to suggest to you today, very simply, that when the Bible talks about his elect, it's talking about those who God has chosen. And the way to think of it is that when God sees your name, he puts a tick by your name. It means that he loves you, that he wants relationship with you. In the same way that you go into a polling booth, and maybe you've got a list of names in front of you, and you pick the person who you want to represent you. Now, in reality, for a lot of us, picking somebody is often a case of the lesser of two evils, or the least worst option. Not always, but often that is the case. But it's important for us to know that when we're talking about those who God has chosen, there's two things. First of all, he's not picking the least worst option. He's picking those who he wants, who he has chosen. We're told that he knows your names, that he knows the number of hairs on your head. He knows everything about you, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything, and he wants you. The second thing is, though, he doesn't have a certain number of people. Like on an election, you can just pick one, so you pick the best person. We're told that his heart is open for all people, that he loves all people, that his work on the cross is for all people, that he loves you, that he wants you. Now, why is this important for us to think about as we talk about ethics for exiles? It's important for us to know this because when we find ourselves in this world as his exiles, as his followers, it's not an accident, it's not a mistake. It's not a case of we become a Christian and then we just kind of sit around twiddling our thumbs until God comes back or until we die, until we go to heaven. God has a purpose for us here now. God's story, God's big redemptive story, which we heard about last week, he has a part for us to play in that story now. God's chosen you, God's elected you to play a part in his story. And that changes the way we think about ethics. That changes the way we think about how we are to live. It's not just about me and my little salvation story about I became a Christian and I'm now waiting for heaven. We step into God's big, huge redemptive story, and we have work to do, whether that be for the rest of our lives, if we become Christians when we're young, whether that be for a few short months, who knows what it might be. But however long God has given us to live, we're to live for him.